What's up, guys? Welcome to another Her Lounge podcast. I am really proud of myself, Rob. I just want you to know that. So I know I keep saying this. I said this last time. I said, but I really want to stay up on these podcasts. I think right now we all need some kind of good conversation to keep us motivated and going. And we'll start like I've been starting with a positive quote. Ask yourself if what you're doing today is getting you closer, to where you want to be tomorrow.
Ooh,
you know?
I like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Today's guest, guys, is my friend Marissa from Caboose. We had her on the Women of Business series, and we're having another girl talk today. We do have some guests lined up. Hopefully next week they'll be on. We had a little bit of conflict of schedule, so my friend Marissa was willing to come on so that we can chit chat. So welcome, Marissa. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for having me back, boo. It's been a minute.
I know, it's been a while. We recorded one.
I know the last podcast we did, that one has to go in the vault somewhere.
It's like sitting in my computer. It was 3 hours long. That podcast was
started to ramble, and that's the problem. But I like that shit.
Yeah, like we literally sat here for 3 hours, and I was like, y'all, I think this podcast needs to end. Like, we were just talking. It was legit a girl talk episode, Rob.
Oh my God,
if you would have been working that one, you would have been like, y'all need to cut it off.
Y'all ain't Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Exactly. 3 hours.
And I kept telling her, but Joe Rogan. She's like, girl, we are not Joe Rogan.
3 hours. Wow.
Exactly.
We are not him.
Even Chingo was like, he'd come in through the window. Like, I'm like, we're still good. Cause he'd be going like,
Don't
thumbs
lie.
up. Are y'all good? I'm like, yeah, we're good. But it was funny because we were sitting here
my
talking.
goodness.
And that's what happens when you can get friends together and chit chat and, you know what I'm saying? And just really talk about life. I think that podcast was supposed to be about being a mom and a working mom and how do you handle all that and how you
And it
still
just
trying
snowballed into a bunch of other things.
Yeah.
But that's part of being a mom because we're fucking people and we talk about everything that matters.
I posted something today that was hilarious. It's a little kid asking his mom.
She was going to say it's mom.
Yeah, I know. His mom.
Well, we don't know if it's him, her, he.
He was asking his mom, and he said, "Mom, what's an alcoholic?" And so she looks out the window. She says, "See, son, an alcoholic would look out the window and would see 4 birds when there's only 2 birds." And he goes, "Mom, there's only 1 bird." And she goes, "Oh shit!" I thought it was hilarious. I was like, "This is because kids do and say the darnest, and then you just wonder where they come up with it.
So
you know,
awesome, dude.
They're interesting
But conversation
characters.
rules the nation, man, and that's what it's all about. It's
Yeah.
about having conversations, and just getting to learn each other's language.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Yeah. And I agree. And and today I kind of wanted to touch a little bit about anxiety, depression, happiness, you know, just because I feel like with everything going on in the world, whether it be politics, whether it be financial, whether it be family, I think everybody is dealing with something.
Yes.
And, I read this statistic that there have been more suicides in 2020 because of all the issues that have been going on. And when I read that, I was like, okay, but I wish that they would have been more specific as to like, was it due to they couldn't figure out any more solutions to their problem? Were they already depressed prior to the pandemic?
Yeah.
So there wasn't enough substance to the subject. So I was like, okay, I really can't go off of
But
that.
I mean, anybody that commits suicide, it's not just a thing that happens that they decide to do in a few months. Like these are things that people struggle with their whole lives.
Yeah, like we started watching the Jenny Rivera series on Netflix.
Okay.
It's crazy. I'm going to be honest, and hopefully I don't make anyone mad here, but I don't like that kind of music, but I liked her, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
me too.
I loved her on
Same
MTV because I loved watching her reality show. So I enjoyed her. I thought she was awesome. She was a really good person. She seemed humbled. Obviously, I don't know her, but my husband got to work with her and he said she was very humble. But the story starts with her first marriage and how the husband was extremely abusive and she attempted suicide. Wow. She overdosed on pills.
Yeah.
And so she went into the hospital and so forth. And her friend comes and talks to her and she says, and this is what made me think about it kind of brought like a light to, that's what we need to talk about on the podcast. It's like overcoming these things, because she kind of felt, I guess, the way it made it seem, again, this is a show, so we don't know, but I'm assuming it's pretty close to what she lived. And I think a lot of women go through this, but even though she attempted to commit suicide, went to go get therapy, she her friend came to visit her and she says, but I love him. And he beat her up. He drove her to this, right? And so I'm sitting there watching and I'm angry, right? I'm like, girl, how you going to say you love him? Like, he just beat you up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just tried to commit suicide because of this. And my thing always, I don't know why, but
it's never with that particular person. Everybody always laughs at me because every time they're like, someone cut me off in the freeway, I was like, that's their childhood trauma. Someone said this to me, I was like, childhood trauma.
Yeah.
Somebody did childhood trauma. I mean, her childhood trauma was so loud. I mean, I'm sure that as a child, somewhere she didn't get the validation that she felt like she needed. Somewhere somebody abandoned her and she felt like her only value was in this particular person. Like, these are things that are learned.
But do you think that maybe she did? Because it seemed like their family was stable based on what I saw. But do you think that a person can have that much control over you to where they can cause you to start having doubt about yourself?
No.
You can start questioning yourself?
No, I think the problem is not with the other person. It's within yourself. It's never that other person, because you are in control of how you feel. If you feel something, you have control over that feeling.
Sure.
If it's a feeling, it's a choice.
Yeah.
And so for her to feel that way and feel like she's not good enough, or feel like she's chosen to kind of sit in that, sit in that depression, or sit in that state of not feeling like she's enough. And I think we forget that, again. I mean, emotion it's something that you can you're in control.
But why do you think, and I was thinking about all these things as I was looking up, like how people how to cope with depression, how to cope with anxiety and stuff. I will be honest. I've never dealt with depression. I think the only time I could say I honestly felt it was probably when my dad passed away, when my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, and then now recently that my sister has cancer. You know what I'm saying? So those are the only times that I kind of felt like this on me. You know what I'm saying? Where it was like, this is too much to handle. I was looking up like ways that people handle anxiety or depression or anything like that. And they said the number one is to exercise, because obviously we all know it's a hormone.
Yeah. Yep.
And so I've always jogged whenever I'm overwhelmed. I'm not a jogger. I don't like jogging. If you follow me on social media, I've always said I don't like cardio, period.
Yeah.
But for some reason, running to me, I feel like I'm fighting the wind. And I'm kind of dealing with my own thoughts. And by the time I finish my 3 miles, I feel like I solved the problem.
Yeah,
I probably did not.
Time to be alone, dude. And sometimes you just need to be alone by yourself
and kind of figure it out.
But some people can't deal with that silence all alone. You know, some people can't deal with whatever it is that they're going through. I mean, I had a friend tell me the other day, I didn't know she was suicidal, and she attempted suicide. And, you know, she took a bunch of pills, ended up in the hospital. And of course, it's her childhood trauma. But she was saying that even when her and her husband were alone, and of course, it's after the fact when she, number one, made it through, but started to go to therapy and really try to look at herself. And she was just saying, like, I couldn't even be in the room with him by myself, you know, alone in silence. Like, I had to have the TV on, or she had to have something in the way of her, you know, dealing with whatever it was that she was going through. And that's hard for a lot of people, because a lot of times we have to look in the mirror first. And it's not, sometimes what we look like is really shitty.
My mom used to always say that, basically like what you said, it's like, we're in control of everything. My mom had a pretty tough childhood, right? And sometimes some of her siblings will say, well, it's our mom's fault, right? And my mom always comes back with, no, it's not mom's fault. She feels like we all can all make a choice. Either we continue to that pattern that their mom expressed to them and showed them, or you stop it so that that cycle doesn't continue and passes on to your children, to where you bring that toxic lifestyle to your children, to your relationship with your husband or whatever. So my mom's point of view was always, I'm not going to allow my childhood to predict how my future will be.
Amen.
So my mom has always been that way towards us. You know what I'm saying? She'll be quick to say things like, okay, cool, it happened. You've got to move on. Did you solve it? You didn't? Okay, what can you do right now, today, to solve that issue, right? So that it doesn't happen again. And so that you're conscious of it. So that just in case it comes up again, or you get a whiff of it and it's like, oh, wait a minute, I've been through this before. I handled it already. I probably should not handle it the same way. I should probably try the new way that I said that should this ever happen again, I would handle it that way. And I always got what my mom meant, right? But I also don't feel that there's people out there who are that strong enough to be able to
because see, your
pass
mom laid down the foundation. A lot of people don't have that foundation. Their whole life is they've been standing on sand for a very long time.
For sure.
There's no foundation, and so you're blessed in that way. But when you have people who they didn't have the person who was supposed to nurture them, give them those tools that they need, they're out here in this world just trying to figure it out on their own.
Yeah.
Looking for things to give them that validation that we all need.
Yeah.
We all need it, man. That's part of, being a human being.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. And it's funny because it's also talked about talking to someone whenever you are feeling anxiety or depression or, any type of or feeling overwhelmed. And I think, and that's when I was reading that, I was like, okay, I get this is coming from a doctor's point of view, right? A psychiatrist, a counselor. These are things that they have discovered. Is this textbook, or is this really I always wonder that, right? Like we go to school, so we're going to follow what the textbook taught us so that we show that to the client, right? Or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a perfect example. Whenever I first started interpreting and I was doing my internship hours, right? They kind of put you with interpreters and they put you in different types of interpreting assignments. So it could be a doctor's visit, it could be a CPS case, anything like that, right? And it's so that you understand that when you go into an interpreting assignment, you are no one. You have no feelings. You have nothing. You are just there. You're the voice of the deaf person.
Yeah.
So that's what you're there to do. Well, in that particular case, this person was diagnosed with cancer at the doctor's office, right? And so the interpreter's like, and I look at the interpreter, right? And I'm like, bitch, do not tell me I'm about to have to give that news to this person, I'm like, I'm trying to finish school. Do not traumatize me like that. Yeah. I was like, oh my God. And she's like, I'm so sorry, but the only she goes,
but what?
The only way you can get credit for this assignment is if that's what you're here to do. I have to because she has to critique me. She has to be able to give me feedback as to did you handle it correctly? Did you use the right vocabulary?
Yeah.
So you're being critiqued. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, okay, I'm a softie. So as it is, my heart dropped when I heard the doctor because the deaf person didn't hear it.
Yeah.
Right? I heard it. The doctor came in and said, we need to give him the news. And I was just like, okay, I don't know where this is going. He just said the news. And so I was like, hell nah, I can't do this, man. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, okay, this is do or die. You are either going to not, I was done. I only needed 12 more hours to finish. So it was like, you either do this or you're going to have to, you'll find another assignment. And it's hard because sometimes interpreters don't want to bring an intern because they're having to kind of they're trying to get through their day.
Yeah. And
you're here trying to you know what I'm saying? Interpret. So I was like, all right, come on, I gotta put my big girl panties on. I'm gonna have to do this, And I just swallowed this huge knot. I wanted to cry so bad, even though I didn't know this person. You know what I'm saying? I was like, thank you, God, for allowing me to experience this because I know for a fact I don't want to further my education so that I can interpret in a medical assignment, because I do not want it, because you have to be in a higher rank to be able to interpret like at the doctor's office or at a courtroom. And so I was like, thank you, because this allowed me to not want to accept that. So now to me, it's like I associate bad news. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't like giving bad news to anybody, you know? My mom, anytime something bad would happen, I would try to this has been always for me, try to make something good out of it. So I either say,
that's a good trait to have.
I'd always do it. But my mom would say, el mundo no es color de rosa. Like, everything is not pretty and pink. So, or when my mom would try to tell me like, man, guess what happened? And I was like, what? So-and-so's dad just passed. I'm like, why would you come home to tell me that? She's a hairdresser. So, she knows everybody's business because everybody tells her that, right? Tells her their business. So I'm like, why would you come home and want to have that conversation? And I'm like, I don't want to hear it. And she's like, it's life. I know. I was like, but I don't want to talk about it. Like, I don't want to talk about because I know what it feels like to lose someone. So it's like, I don't want to have a discussion about, I already know that person's first instinct, like, feels like this is a dream. You know what I'm saying? So I'm processing that person's feelings because I've done it myself. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was like, I don't want to hear it. So my mom's always like, I don't know when you're going to grow out of that, but it's crazy how, I don't know what you've done in there. It's just like where you like immediately will knock anytime there's bad vibes, I can't do it. And I talked about this on our first podcast. I've always felt like I'm such a bad friend because of the fact that once you come to me for advice, I give it to you. And then when you come to me again, I'll give it to you again. But after the third time that you're not listening to what I'm trying to tell you, I just don't have the patience. And now you've created this like you're so negative. Like,
but you have to protect your energy at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't deplete yourself for somebody else. I mean, yes, you do. Part of us being here on this planet is to, empathize with other people and try to, help each other. But when it comes to like what you were saying with your friend, it's like, okay, so it kind of gets to a point where it's like, look, I still love you and everything. Yeah. But when it comes to that situation, how about you leave me out of it?
Yeah.
I mean?
It's like,
because like you were saying, I heard the podcast. You're like, look, I'm going to bed thinking about, oh, fuck, what am I going to do to help this person? How do I do this? How do I do that? And then, I mean, you really do run yourself dry.
Yeah, because I'm a problem solver. So for me, the minute there's something wrong, my brain immediately, the little wheel starts going like, how are we going to solve this? How are we going to solve this? Nope. There's not going to be a block here. We got to go. We got to go. And I don't really know where in life it happened, because I've really tried to figure out why I just don't allow it. I don't know when it happened in life, or because how you said like some kind of trauma. I don't know what happened when I was younger that it caused for me to be like, I'm done. Like, I'm not allowing ever for negativity to come over my life. Yep. And I've seriously have sat down and tried to think about like things that have happened. I'm like, I can't think of what it is. I don't know if it's my mom's very strict way of being growing up, where it was like you weren't allowed to mope around. You weren't allowed to like, you know what I'm saying, be sad or anything. I never forget.
You didn't have time to feel sorry for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So I don't know if she maybe did that to us, and I just maybe because she did it to us at such a young age to where you never really maybe developed that weakness muscle. I don't know. But I never forget, my sister was dating someone. She's going to kill me for telling the story if she listens, but she was dating someone, and the guy who she was dating wanted to, like, he was dating to marry, but my sister was only, I think, like 19 years old or 18 years old. She was young, right? Yeah. And he was like a year or two older than her. And so he was looking for, I know,
exactly. You got to be with somebody to be happy, and you're only 21.
Yeah, exactly.
Childhood trauma.
And he wanted that. And my sister was like, no, I'm like in college. Like, I don't want to be. So he broke up with her. So my sister was so like heartbroken that she couldn't believe that because she didn't want to do what you said, that you would want to end a relationship. So she comes home, literally, opens the door, and is going to go talk to my mom, right? And so she sits down. My mom's like, what's going on? You know, what's wrong? She goes, I'm not going to say his name. She's like, so-and-so broke up with me because she goes like this. No. Salte del cuarto.
Classic.
She goes, aquí no vas a estar llorando por ningún hombre. She goes, aquí nada más. She goes, aquí se le llora a tu mamá y a tu papá cuando se mueran. Dice, pero aquí no se llora por ningún hombre. Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. I was like, Jesus. And my poor sister just walks out of the room.
She was like, oop, just kidding.
She walks out. So then she calls my dad. And I couldn't believe she called my dad because my dad's always been like, you know, he thinks no guy is ever good for you. You know, typical macho Mexican dad, you know. And so I was like, wow, she's kind of ballsy to call my dad. And so my dad's like, my dad has always been more of the softer one. Like, well, you know, it's
good to have that balance, though.
Yeah. He was more like, I just don't know why your mom doesn't try to be your friend and kind of talk to you about it, you know, and it's life. You're going to have a lot of times where you're not going to, you know, have good relationships. So he's the one all like trying to. Meanwhile, my mom's like, don't bring that shit in this house. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, basically, like, don't be crying for no man. She straight up said, the only people you cry for here is your mom or your dad when they're dead. And it's just like, and even then, you shouldn't be crying because they're probably going to a better place. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it was like, to her, she's always been like that with us. So I don't know if that was probably also the reason why I also probably never cared to have relationships. I almost feel like she would have made fun of it. Yeah.
So you know what? Better not even bring him around. Yeah.
So I don't know if that's the reason why I just kind of dated casually. I never really had a serious boyfriend. This is really embarrassing to say, but like my husband's only like my legit second, like legit long-term relationship, but that turned into marriage. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? But prior to him, I was in another relationship that lasted 8 years. And before him, I just dated, you know, I just dated. And, you know, I legit can say I had a lot of fun. That's why I felt like when that's why I never feel like, you know how you're like, we're talking about girls' night out. I was like, yeah, girls' night out is cool.
I had a lot of fun. That's all I know.
But I don't really care for them because I don't miss anything from it. To me, it's more fun to go have coffee and like a pastry and sit there and chit chat about what's going on in life rather than, you know, drinking or like going to I have zero desire to go to a club.
Same for me, boo.
Zero.
But I partied so hard as a young, you know.
That's me.
I was already trying to get off the hard shit at like 21 and I'm 39 now, so I made it. I mean, I have this chipped tooth, but I made it. Every time I have flashbacks,
you're like, yo, I know what happened there.
But you know, but I like what your mom was saying, and it's true. It's like you're too young to be worried about, you know, how you make another person feel. Yeah. You know, yes, when you encounter other people, be good, be kind, whatever. But as far as a relationship is concerned, we're not even old enough. Yeah. Like, when I think back, I'm like, dude, like 21 is like, I don't know. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. No. I'm still trying to figure it out. And I'm 39. Like, I feel like I'm still just a little kid trying to figure it out.
Facts. Yes.
But she is right. You know, you're too young to be worried about that. Like, you need to be worried about you right now and making you better. And
I don't know where, like, I don't know. My sister has always been into Disney World. So she loves Disney princesses and all that. I was never into that. Yeah. I don't know if it was because I was the oldest one. So like I had to learn responsibility.
How old is she? Or what's the difference?
30, we're 4.5 years apart. So I don't know if it's because being the oldest one, first generation child, I was having to like help pay bills. I had a lot of bills. Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, I had to be the interpreter for my parents until they learned English. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if it's because I never really had the chance to like enjoy childhood the way she did, to where I liked watching. For me, my movies are like Alice in Wonderland, where she's using her like imagination, and that for me was pretty dope.
She was smoking the toad.
Yeah,
she took some shrooms. You know what I'm saying? That little bread. I don't know what the bread was, but something was in that bread.
Some?
So that's like for me. That's why when Penny turned 1, I couldn't wait because I knew. You know, that I wanted her theme to, I wanted it to be the Alice in Wonderland.
Did you do that?
Yeah, that was her first year theme. Picture. Yeah, I will. And so her whole tea set, everything. Like I knew that that's what I wanted for her. Because I think Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is one of my favorites. Just, I know that's not
all
Disney,
the weird
but
ones.
yeah, that's me.
Like that.
I've always said that before Chingo even became a person, like someone in my life. when my friend first told me about him, what I liked the most was how weird he was. He was just out of the bubble. So out there, like, who wears boots and big ass pants and big ass t-shirts and a grill? Exactly. So to me, I love different. I love people who are super creative and see the world from a whole. When someone tells me something and they'll say something like out of nowhere, I'm like, wow, I never really thought about it like that. But okay, yeah, I can see that. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense. While somebody else would be like, that makes no sense.
To you.
Yeah, but
With
to
your
me,
small brain. Golly, open your mind.
Exactly. I've always liked that. So I don't know if it was my sister's fairy. That was her fairy tale. You know what I'm saying? Because my sister married young. You know what I'm saying? She
married a
loved
friend of
being.
mine.
Yeah, she loved being married. Like she loves. I think now she's matured because she's, divorced. So for her now it's like, oh yeah, so it doesn't work just like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But for my sister, we're so different. It's funny because I'm soft in a lot of ways to where, like, the first thing she told me when she told me she had cancer, she goes, look, I'm gonna tell you something right now, but don't start crying. All right. And I'm like, well, how are you gonna tell me that? You know what I'm saying? Like, and so it's funny because she knows me. I'm very sensitive, but at the same time hard. She's kind of sensitive about love, right? But she's harder in other ways because she handled my dad's death totally different, more of a stronger person, while I handled it of a weaker person, if that makes sense. I don't know if it's weakness. You're losing someone.
But it really is always just the opposite. Like when you show your emotions, it's because you're brave enough to do so. You're strong enough to do so.
I agree.
Yeah. And when you hide that the sadness or whatever it is that you're feeling, that's because you're not strong enough to handle that. And so for me, it's always the opposite. It's like, okay, I know people say that this is being a softie and this, but first of all, we're humans. We have a lot of emotions. We're supposed to use them bitches every fucking day, all 50,000 of them.
When I start to feel sad, that movie, I always say this. What's that movie, Rob, with the emotions in the head?
Oh, whatever it's called.
What's it called?
The animated one?
The animated one.
What
is that one called? That kid movie where it's about emotions.
Yep.
And they're talking it and they're, oh my God.
My kid always wants to watch it. I know what it's called.
Inside Out.
Inside Out. Yep.
Such a good movie.
When I saw that, I was like, what? So when I'm feeling anything, I'll talk to myself. I'm like, hey, y'all better start figuring it out over there. Like, that emotion can't happen right now. Like, get it out.
Oh my goodness.
But it goes back to what they were saying, talking your problems out.
Yes.
Sometimes people see it as weakness. They bottle it in, and then it's one itty
Little
bitty
thing
thing,
that just
and boom, explodes.
Yep.
And then that's what they say causes sometimes the suicidal thoughts, the toxic relationships,
Yep.
whether it be with family, whether it be with friends, whether it be with your spouse or your boyfriend, whatever it is. And it's crazy how humans are. Like, I think humans are so interesting. Have you ever just watched someone? Just watch them. Like, have you ever been to the mall and sat in the food court and you're just watching a family? You know what I'm saying? That's what I like, going to go have coffee.
People watch.
Yeah,
People watching's great.
Yeah, I'll sit there at the coffee shop sometimes and I'll be there and I'll be like, gosh, I'm so glad I'm not a student. Well, I'll be seeing them and I can tell
why
they're
not at work today, bitches. God.
I do. I sit there and I watch and I love watching people's mannerisms, like their movement. I can tell when someone's like first dating, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's just the way
I like those.
Yeah,
I do.
they're just really like, they're sitting right next to each other. There's
And my
absolutely
husband's the worst. He's like, babe, it looks like they're arguing. I'm like, first of all, we're going to counseling, so don't be judging. Okay? But let me see what. Oh, yeah, it does look like they're arguing. Oh, my God.
And I was going to go.
That's what we do, man.
Yeah.
We people watch.
That's another thing I was going to talk about, this whole conversation about talking to someone. Sometimes, I don't know. I'm not going to say this for all races, but I think in the Latino race, the most, it's looked at as bad if you tried to get some kind of counseling.
Ooh, that's the way it's looked at in, African American culture too. A lot of my friends who are African American are like, yeah, my family does not believe in that. Mm-hmm. In the Asian culture, that's also looked at as weakness. So it's really not a race thing. It's just a people thing. You know what I mean? It's a people thing. Like, some people feel like that's a sign of weakness, and some people feel like, look, even the big entrepreneurs and all these people that do all these awesome things, they have people that they sit down with who coach them, who mentor them. And so why is that a bad thing to get a little bit of coaching?
Yeah. I don't like talking to anybody.
Especially if it's, something that you really, really care about. You know what I mean? But
I don't really. I've never. I'm not going to say never because I'm not going to say I would never be open to counseling, but I don't like knowing that I'm going to go talk to someone because again, I just feel like they're one, judging me. Two, I'd love to know more about you. How do you handle situations? What is your marriage like? Because sometimes it's easier, and I do this with. It's funny. I was just talking to the girl who. To Ilse, the person who helps me with my social media, I was talking to her and I was like, I was looking through deleting pictures and I saw pictures of when I was trying to figure out social media and what I taught myself. That's when I was telling you this is what I've learned. And I would tell you, look, listen, you should try this. And so I was trying to teach myself the best way to engage on social media, et cetera, et cetera. And I just remember thinking there one day, like, God, why doesn't anybody have this job? Like, there's no one out there in this world that does this. Like, I don't have time for this. You know what I'm saying? So then when I interviewed her for my Women in Business series, and she was saying what she did, I was like, God,
oh my God.
did you really
what,
listen
universe?
to me? You know what? I think
I just spoke this into existence.
Exactly. And I told her, and it's funny because we were talking about that. I was like, I can look at other people's social media before I even met her, right? Because I had been doing my own little research and so forth. I'm like, yeah, they're lacking some kind of consistency here. Their pictures are not like I immediately can look at someone's social media and know what they're
figure
lacking.
out how to fix it.
But I can't do it on my own page. Does that make sense? Is that not weird?
Your page looks good.
No.
What are you talking about?
Let me tell you why. I'm doing some more research right now.
Okay, but we can always be better.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm doing more
we're
research.
leveling up every day. Okay.
And
tell
I
me what you
don't
found.
feel that my page kind of tells you what I'm really all about. I think I am everywhere. Does that make sense? For example, if I go on your juice Caboose, I know that you sell juice because all you do is talk about juice and you deliver juice.
Don't nobody know we sell ads too. Okay, we're doing a lot of things to stay afloat right now. I'm just saying. But anywho,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's very obvious, right?
Yes.
Go on. I'm just gonna say Starbucks page. Well, they're a coffee shop. I think that's stupid because everybody knows what Starbucks is. But I'm just telling you, I don't feel like if you go on my page, if a brand were to look on my page, I don't know that they'd 100% know who my audience is because I'm kind of everywhere. I kind of give you fitness tips. I kind of give you mom tips. I kind of give you, you know what I'm saying? I show you pictures of celebrating a certain holiday. You know what I'm saying? Or
isn't that the beauty of learning about people though? Public figures, businesses people already know. Juice Caboose. Oh, Starbucks coffee, cool. Mariswole. What's Mariswole about? And then you take them on the journey you want to take them on.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, bro.
Because at the end of the day, it's just wellness.
Yeah,
you're preaching wellness or you're teaching wellness.
Empowerment.
Physical, I'm big time about that.
Physical, whether it's at the end of the day, it's just wellness.
One thing that I for sure every time we would teach, when I would teach Zumba, it was like my favorite thing. What favorite thing is, I could see the women that would come into my class who were insecure because they would come in with big old t-shirts, right? Big old t-shirts. They didn't look the cutest, right? Because you're going to the gym. Why would you look cute, right?
Yeah.
But as an instructor, I felt like I needed to be an example. So I always came in looking cute, my hair, my makeup. Granted, I also just got off of work, my other real job. So, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I had to already come in like that. But I would see the transformation in every female.
And then they start coming in looking cute.
I said, they're no longer wearing their husband's big old t-shirts to class. Now they've gotten like their own Nike t-shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Lululemon.
Or they've gotten their new little tennis shoes. I'd be like, I would feel so good because it would make me feel like, okay, they're getting, not only are they getting healthy, but they're also, their confidence is going up. And if that's not rewarding to anybody, you've got problems. But
that's right.
That was so rewarding to me. You know what I'm saying? But my point for that was, damn, I just forgot why I was telling you that.
It's okay.
What were we talking about?
Taking the people on the ride, like getting to see who you are, the wellness. You're all about wellness and empowerment.
About talking to people.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Conversation rules the nation.
Yeah, there you go. For me, I never feel like they're going to honestly 100% know. I don't know. I know that you went to school for that. I know that you solved that. But sometimes I feel if we had friend group therapy where somebody's looking from the outside in because no one's marriage is perfect, right?
Yep.
So we right, like myself, if you told me something about something that you didn't like about your husband, I'd be like, well, honestly, it's not that bad. If you think about it, it's kind of like blah, 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 because you think it's really bad. But we don't, because we're your friends. We know y'all personally, but we see it in a different way. And I know that sounds ridiculous. Like, who the hell is going to sit there and have a friend therapy session?
We do. Our friends know all of our business. And I think that's what my husband had to get used to, because I'm an open book. And he's more like, his childhood trauma. You keep it to yourself. You don't talk about it. And so that's something that we've definitely made some strides on. But I mean, again, conversation rules the nation, man. And there's a lot of healing that happens when you just speak it.
Yeah.
Just say it. Stop holding on to it.
I'm like your husband.
And let's all fucking talk about it.
I'm more private. I don't like to really tell my business. So something that I did, I've done, and it's funny because the coffee shop down the street from here, Doshi House, on the first of the year, they did this. So any bad shit that happened, they asked you to write it down, and they started a bonfire. Ooh. And you throw that problem and it's burned. So I was in high school and I was in that program, Future Teachers of America. And I sat in an ARC meeting, which is like one of those with the parents and the teachers and the student and so forth. And one of the counselors that was there said, okay, we're going to try an exercise today. And she said, what bad things happened? And so the little boy wrote down, what do you have? Okay, cool. It's like, we're going to do something fun. And she said, we're going to burn all those bad thoughts away because they're going to go away. I said, that was genius. I'm trying that now. So I've always done that. So anytime that I feel a lot of stuff is accumulating and I feel like it's become bad vibes, which is the reason why I brought out that shirt, that No Bad Vibra shirt, because that's, and one thing I want to do more in 2021, because I don't think I do a good job of communicating why I drop certain things or certain sayings on my shirts, right? It's because there's a lot more of a meaning to it for me. So for me, the No Bad Vibras, that's where that came from. I was sitting there, I just finished burning some shit, and then I text my creative director. I said, I want a No Bad Vibra shirt. Yeah. And he'd be like, okay, well, that's interesting. I was like, yeah, I do. I said, I want a No Bad Vibes. I'm like, but I want it to be like with a twist of Spanish in there. I said, so that's where I want that shirt to be. But that was because anytime there's bad things happening, I feel like it's a bad vibe. So if you write it down, you make a little fire, you burn that shit, it's gone. You burned it. You burned the bad energy. You burned the bad thoughts, and you let it go.
Yep.
And you've not only journaled it because you wrote it down. I will write the situation. I'll write how I'm feeling. I'll write how I felt I had no solution and that this was my solution. You are gone. And that's it. And it just goes away.
In the air. Gone.
It's gone.
And it's that easy. I mean, it really is like taking the remote and just changing the channel. Yeah. Like, if you don't like, again, we do have a lot of control. And so if you don't like what you're allowing yourself to be consumed by, you just got to say, fuck that.
Yeah.
I need to stop because this is fucking me up.
And it could be toxic people in your life that are creating that while you're trying to be better. You're trying to improve yourself every day, because we all make... That's why I wanted to start the first podcast of 2021 on changing and doing things and actually taking the steps and what systems do you need to set and develop so that whatever goal that you have in place is actually accomplished. Is because I think a lot of times we just go in negative to certain things. And it's like, it didn't happen last year. It's probably not going to happen this year. So I'm just not going to do it, right? And it's kind of like, well, yeah, there you go. You just spread the bad vibe yourself,
you just
right
fucked
now.
up your whole year.
That's it. You just spoke bad energy into existence. That's what you did. You know what I'm saying?
It really is. It's like your brain is just a little puppy dog waiting on you to tell it what to do, And so you got to tell your brain to do badass shit. You can't be telling yourself, oh, next year's just going to be, whatever. You have to. Our
brain is powerful. It's super duper powerful. And I'm reading this book called Morning Affirmations, I think. But it's how to conquer your mornings. And one of the things that says it's like the lizard brain. our lizard brain is the one that attacks whenever we get defensive about certain things and so forth. So I've been reading that, and it's funny because I'm someone who doesn't react immediately. I kind of I'll be pissed as AF, and I'll be marinating the whole time as to how I'm going to respond to you.
Girl.
Because I'm going to give it to you
That's intense.
in a really good way. And so that's kind of one thing that I wish, I know it's good and it's bad, but I feel like I let it sit too long sometimes, right? And then I forget about it, and then it'll happen again, and then I'll be like, oh, wait, but you were going to have a solution the first time, dumbass. Like, you know what I'm saying? You let it pass because you sat and thought about it too much. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So one thing that I don't want to do is analyze too much, but rather like really look at the situation, let it be okay, and then let it be known immediately versus me just kind of sitting back, and then I'll think the next morning, damn, I should have said this, and I didn't say that.
We've all
right?
done that.
And I'll be like, that would have been a better answer, not this
Damn
answer.
it, I should have brought up that shit from 2 years ago.
How can I bring that subject up again? So that I can give this answer. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I've become that person I'm so analytical. I don't know if it's a Libra thing. Rob, do you think it's a Libra thing?
I brought that up earlier when we were in the kitchen.
I was like, we don't know what
I was like, that's why me and Mariswole get along so well.
I don't know if it's a Libra thing. Our birthdays are like a week apart.
Yeah. Is the book Morning Affirmations, 200 Phrases for an Intentional and Open-Hearted Start to Your Day?
No.
Is that written by Jim Quick by any chance?
Jennifer Williamson.
No. Mine's a blue book. It's called Morning Something.
Morning Miracle?
Man.
I really thought she was going to say Morning After. I really did. I really did.
Messed up, girl.
Is it Daily Affirmations?
Hold on a second. Rob, I know you've shown this me before. How can I see my archives again? Archive, here we go.
Oh, shit. I got some coffee on the table.
That's all right. It's a podcasting table, you know?
Yeah. Everybody's going to be like, is she really sitting here trying to figure it out? I am, guys, because it's going to drive me crazy.
I like that kind of stuff. I think listeners would appreciate what you're reading.
It's a really good book. And I posted the other morning, like, man, I wish... Oh, here it is. The Morning Mind. I'm sorry. The Morning Mind.
Okay.
So it's
like
called
that.
The Morning Mind.
You got to share that with... Is it going to be on the...
Yeah.
Let us
on
know.
the podcast. It's called The Morning Mind. And it just kind of tells you how our brain works. And one of the things that I struggle with personally is I am so organized, like mentally, like I compartmentalize everything. And so I know that in my brain how everything is going to kind of work out.
God, I need to be like that.
But then sometimes it's too much to where if it doesn't go that way, I get in a bad mood. It creates anxiety for me. And then it throws me off to where the rest of whatever could have happened doesn't happen because it already kind of irritated me that it didn't go like this. My house, when it's a mess, that's chingo who I am. I just am not the right person. I don't like it because my brain doesn't work. If it's if my house is unorganized.
Ooh, but there's science behind that because if there's chaos around you, it's hard for your brain to do what it needs to do. And that's the same thing for me. Like before I'm getting ready to do something important or try to be creative or, get my thoughts together, I have to clean first.
Yeah.
Because I can't do it. I can't think straight unless everything around me is good. And it's the brain, man. It's crazy.
And that's why I said, as we're talking about anxiety, depression, and all this, it's like you have to kind of analyze your own surroundings. Yep. How are your surroundings right now? Is that actually contributing to why you're feeling overwhelmed, anxiety, depression? Is it a little bit of that? You know what I'm saying? What is it? What is contributing to it? And for me, a lot of times is not when we're not organized. Yeah. I fell off big time during this pandemic. My God, to where I told my husband the other day, I said, my planner has to come back out. I said, and now my where I make my notes is going to come back out. I said, it has to. I was like, I can't. I don't function that way. I tried to use this as my remembering.
And failed every time.
And here's where I fell too.
Then you started reaching for Klonopins.
okay. And then people were like, why don't you just use your phone? Duh, it's got reminders. I'm like,
Duh. I know,
let
but
me
it's
use
something
that.
about having a planner that's in
Bro.
front of me and I can see it and I can write it down. I don't know. It's
I
just,
tried using the reminders on here. I was like, that is not fun to me. Deleting it from a reminder app is not. Yeah,
Gotta have something
Yeah.
to scratch it off.
Yeah,
exactly.
check
That's
it
what mine
off.
looks like.
Something.
Yes.
I can't. And so I realized that wasn't for me and it was throwing
I
up.
love that.
But I was trying to be modern. I was trying to
You're like, it's all good, man. It's all in here.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I got it. Because my husband would be like, so what do we have going on today? Oh, we have X, Y, Z. And then it would be
I think
that day. And I'm
X-
like, oh, shit. We have blah, 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 blah going on. I was like, I forgot
my
about that.
God.
Well, before.
You used to have 5 planners
I
at a
had fun.
time.
Exactly.
Damn. One for personal, one for
Yes.
business.
One for creative.
So,
yeah,
I
one for
swear,
out of town.
I
Yeah.
did. One was for the tour. One was for Jerry Garcia, which is the other guy I manage. One was my personal family one, where I kept track, like when we have Mickey, when we don't have Mickey, when we
Yep.
have activities, whatever it is. And then I had my own personal one, which was for my content, what I was
Creative
going to creative,
meetings.
Yeah.
all creative meetings and all that. So I legit had 4 calendars, like 4 different planners. And everybody's like, for what? Why can't, I said, for me, my brain doesn't work like that. If it's all mixed in together, I can't figure out. And that's just the way you work. And I think that when you're going through all these emotions, right? I feel like you have to kind of figure out what works for you
Yes.
to be able to solve your problems.
Yeah.
A lot of times financial things can cause stress to a lot of families, relationships, right? Or just even if you're a single person,
Yep.
it's overwhelming. You know what I'm saying? I remember when I was in school and working full time, I was like, I'm going to get old so fast because I'm not
Why
sleeping.
were you saying that?
I was like, I'm not sleeping. I got to get up to work. I'm like, I was eating bad, which eating bad is
fucks you up.
it's already a bad
Yep,
thing
it
for you.
ages you.
It adds to your anxiety, to your depression. A lot of people turn to food when they're depressed. You know what I'm saying? I'm not somebody that turns to food when I'm depressed. I don't eat. I'm the opposite. I lose.
Yeah, right.
I lose appetite. And so because I'm so stressed on how I'm going to solve the problem to where food is secondary to me.
Yeah.
It does not matter to me whatsoever. But I was also reading that you shouldn't have coffee, alcohol, nicotine,
Girl, I
any of
know.
that. When you're stressed out, I'm like, no, but see,
what happened
this juice
was-
right here.
We all made our
this
cup of coffee before we
this
came back
is what helps me keep going.
liquid cocaine.
Yeah, this right here. I don't know because it says since it's a hormone, it
Raises cortisol.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I get the scientific part of it, but for me, I also don't know if it's this habit of doing this.
The ritualistic part of
I don't
it,
know
yeah.
if that's the
Yes.
part because
The
I
comfort.
like sitting on my porch
Uh-huh.
in the morning and I'll have Penny sit next to me. I like to have my coffee in my hand. Yesterday was too damn cold. You couldn't get me to go out there, but I still sat on my couch. I turned the TV on for Penny for a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And then I make her, it's chocolate milk, but she thinks she's having coffee too. So we'll sit there together and we have this coffee that.
Mootopia.
Yeah, Mootopia, exactly. So, she thinks she's having coffee. So I don't know what it is about that for me, but it helps me gather my thoughts. Sometimes I'll just have it'll be the news on. I'm not even really watching it, but I'm kind of looking, but my brain is doing something else where I'm like, I already have a plan of how we're going to do this, what we're going to do today, you know what I'm saying, etc. So I think if you're somebody who is suffering from any of these feelings, maybe take the time just for a little bit and write down what you feel makes you happy, what things encourage you, and maybe do more of that so that anytime you start to feel any type of depression, sadness, anxiety, you
Yep.
kind of remember, it says to have a stress journal. I don't know that I want a stress journal because I don't want to read a page and say, damn, I was stressed that day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want to stress it, figure it out, move on. But I can't say I want to go back to that page
Yeah.
and read that stress that I had that day. I feel you should have an overcoming stress situation journal to where you basically say how shitty it was and then what you did to overcome it and how great it's making you feel because you've taken those steps. Now it's all
love that.
positivity in
Yup.
your journal versus negative energy. And I get it. You're writing down your feelings and that might work for other people. But because for me, negativity doesn't work.
Yeah.
I would have to see
Well, Don and I have gratitude journals that we use.
Those are great.
Yes,
See, I use
and that's
use
what
the
I was
app.
gonna say, man.
I
You
use the
start
app.
I
your
use the app.
day. You start your day with a little bit of gratitude. You start your day with you got to have your I'm gonna accomplish this day moment in the morning to yourself. Like, how are you gonna go to battle if you don't have a fucking plan?
Yeah.
So you have to sit there and say, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. For me, it's more like, okay, these are the things that I have to accomplish today.
Yeah, some people will say they'll look at the 5-year plan, but they won't even look day to day for some reason.
Day to day is important, man.
And I think that's more important than
Yep,
the
than your
5-year plan. Because if you
Amen.
can't achieve tomorrow, then how are you going to achieve it 5 years
That's
from now?
right.
That's just my opinion.
That's right.
I don't know how true that is. But some app, guys, that I like to use is called Morning Pages. It is a journal, and you have to write 500 words. So not only does it's an exercise for your brain, it's an exercise for you to write, which writing is great. And then afterwards, it tells you where you are emotionally. Like, it's like, well, you had a lot of happiness, you had a lot of stress.
What is this?
It's called Morning Pages. Right. So after you're done with it, and you don't have to write 500 words, but it does recommend you do it. You know what I'm saying? Even if it even says on there, even if you're just writing the same thing over and over, but you're working your brain. And I try to do that. I also do the 5-minute gratitude app.
Yes.
It's literally super easy. What you're grateful for, how your day will be, give your affirmation. And I know this is really silly, but hold on. As soon as it's done.
I even do it with the kids, with my little 6-year-old. I'm just like, Aiden, I want you to repeat after me. He's autistic, so he's my little baby.
Really? He really is?
Yeah, we just found out he has autism. A lot
Is
of
it
things weren't really making sense to us, and that's the reason why we even put them in private school, because we knew something wasn't right? And then in the public school system, they would just eat him alive and spit him out. But in the morning, I'm like, okay, Aiden, you're going to repeat after me. I'm going to have a good day. He's like, I'm going to have a good day. And I'm not going to say D's nuts. He's like, because that's all he says all day long.
Oh my God.
D's nuts, D's nuts, D's nuts. But you know why? Because of that commercial, D's nuts.
Oh, that's a product, right?
Yes, and he says it all day long.
That's
and I'm just
funny.
like, oh God, help us. But anyway, that it's important to get your day started with a little bit of gratitude. What is my plan for the day?
Yeah.
I like to listen to a guy named Jim Quick, and I think one of his books is like it's all about brain hacks, real quick brain hacks. And so he says, number one, you have to get good rest. So put the phone down at least an hour before you go to bed. That because your brain is. It's something about this phone, dude, that just makes your brain go crazy and out of control. So put it away. Get good rest, because at night in your dreams, those are important. That's the brain is letting you, it's giving you
Soft.
It's giving you a front seat to what it's doing, which is trying to figure out, okay, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? It's problem solving in your sleep.
He wrote Limitless, right? That's the book?
Yes.
Okay. I saw that. I've seen it before.
I mean, come on, our brain is like, it's ancient. It's what? How many years old? 12,000 years old? I don't know.
It's so complex.
It really is.
And that's one of the things it talks about. Sleep also helps.
You have to.
all that.
If
Meditation.
you're not getting good sleep, meditation, dude, I have got to get into that.
So we do it every night. So not to cut you off,
Go ahead,
but
go
if you need something, okay,
Help me.
use the Calm app, because it's only 5. It's like they have the morning, okay, it's your morning meditation. Then they have an evening meditation that you can also do. So if you didn't get to do it in the morning, mine is not in the morning, to be honest with you, because I know this is really sad, but meditation for me in the morning is not useful.
Yeah.
I'm a slow starter. So
Yeah.
for me, meditating in the morning is only going to bring me calmer, and I need to go.
You need to go.
You know
You
what
need
I'm
your
saying?
coffee
So
meditation.
exactly. So for
Yup.
me, my meditation
It's
or
at
my
night.
therapy, I guess I should say, is writing my 5-minute gratitude, journaling a little bit, even if it's short, you know what I'm saying? And then I wanted to tell you guys, I use this app called Elevate, and it's I know it's silly,
Stop.
but it works your brain.
all
I know.
self-deprecating.
Yes,
I know, because
you
it could be
better
like,
stop.
because it's like 5th grade math, right? They start.
I
you
don't
off
know
with,
that shit.
They start you off with 5th grade math, right? And it's little 5th grade activities, and then you start to go up in levels, right? So it kind of gives you the lowest levels, but it's working your brain. So my grandfather passed of Alzheimer's, so they say it's hereditary, right? I don't know how true it is. My grandmother now has dementia, I guess. You know what I'm saying, is what they're kind of.
That's definitely hereditary.
Yeah. So both of them had it. My grandfather started with Alzheimer's, then he went into dementia. And then so now my grandmother is kind of showing signs. Well, she is. And so I'm afraid of it, right? So just like I'm afraid of diabetes because my father passed of it. So this is the reason why I'm kind of very health conscious, right? So anyway, the elevate thing is something that keeps your brain working, which is how you can avoid reading is also another way to avoid, you know, dementia, Alzheimer's, all those ideas or whatever, all those diseases that can happen. And so elevate is like basically just brain activities. So they're real simple. It's like, that's why I love Tetris too.
Oh, hell yeah.
Tetris is one of my favorite games. It's on my phone. I don't have no other games except Tetris. If I am sitting there.
It's relaxing too, though.
Super.
It really is.
Dude, there's a board game called Blockus. Have you ever played it?
No.
It's like a board game Tetris. It is
that's
so
crazy.
fun,
I'm gonna have to look
Marisol.
that up.
It is so good. It's so simple
I
for
love this,
people.
man. This is just a wealth of information.
Yeah.
Right?
It's just, I mean, I just love it.
I'll throw one in there for you too. Brain FM. You guys ever used it?
No.
What is that?
Brain FM uses music and binaural beats to make you focus, sleep. So whenever you're doing a task,
Dude, I need that for
you
my
put
child.
on Brain FM.
Yep.
Depending on the kind of music you want to focus, do you want to sleep? Do you want to meditate? Do you want to calm? Do you want to work yourself up? It uses different music to not trick your brain, but to train your brain to do whatever specific task you want to do.
Wow.
That is
I've been
that
using
an
that for
app?
years. Yeah, it's called Brain FM.
Brain
It's been around for a
FM.
long time.
That is amazing.
And it can be as short as, 5, 10, 15-minute meditations to like anytime I need to write or focus or put together a proposal or whatever, I put on Brain FM and get into whatever zone I need to get in.
You know what else I thought was cool that Jim Quick guy was saying? He was saying, okay, so you wake up, right? You write your shit down, do whatever you're going to do. He says in the morning, start brushing your teeth with the opposite hand. Because you're already telling your brain that we're going to do something hard today. We're going to do something that we're not used to. So you're already opening your brain up to big and badass shit. So, and that's why I was like, dude, that's so fucking cool. Like something so small is just.
But what if you're, what is
Ambidextrous?
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
Oh, aren't you special? You
Yeah.
use both hands.
Well, my mom.
Why'd you have to just knock me down
Nobody
right
likes
now?
a
Why'd you-
one-upper, Marisol. Nobody
Go
likes.
ahead, man. I thought I was really like.
I'm asking why. My mom took this away from me because they say
Why?
it's bad luck to be left-handed. I don't know. There's some kind of like.
Oh wait, you were born left-handed?
So I would write left-handed. I can write a whole. I mean, I'm perfect with my left hand.
Your mom handicapped you.
Oh my
I do
God. I love
certain
it though.
things
I love that.
Way better left-handed. Like I usually lift better.
Dude,
with
she's
my
an
left
alien.
hand.
She's an
And my
alien.
right hand is okay, but I tend to do better on the left side. I have no idea why. But if you look at pictures of me when I was little, my mom must have taken this away from me since I was young. And then we watched some stupid thing on TV about how there's myths about kids who are left-handed. It was like looked at evil back in the days. It's like it's almost like a superstitious type thing. So I was like, wait, did my mom do that to me? Because if you look at all my pictures where I'm coloring, I'm not coloring with my right hand. I'm the only one coloring with my left hand.
Oh.
And
that
then
is
I don't know
awesome.
where in life I started using the right hand. But I
Childhood
remember my mom telling me, no, con la derecha, no, con la derecha.
Yep.
And so I don't know if that's kind of like where with my right, I don't know if that's where it came from. But I mean, I can literally write everything with my left hand. I do
That is
some things
amazing.
better
Yeah,
with
that's
my
crazy.
left hand than I do with my right hand. But I think I'm used to my right hand. But I sometimes, some things are easier for me on this side than it is on this side.
Yeah.
I don't know. Lifting especially. Like lifting is always easier for me on the left side than my right side. But I don't know.
Self-care, man, it's the most important. So whatever you got to do, if it's apps about meditation or if it's gratitude apps or even that FM, whatever you need to do to get through your day, I'm for it.
Same.
Especially if the outcome is, a positive version of yourself. I love it.
I want to say something real quick. As I know everybody's like, yeah, easy for you to say because I have I had a friend.
Who's everybody and how is
No,
it easy?
I'm about to. No, wait. I'm saying it's easy for you to say when you don't have like if you're not clinically diagnosed, like whether it be labeled depression or anxiety or whatever, or bipolar, whatever it is. People who are labeled those things or clinically diagnosed, they'll say it's like easier for you to say because you're not any of those things or you're not taking any medication. But here's something that I want to say. Again, it goes back to you being in control, like you said, right? And so sometimes it starts with as little as this. And let me read y'all something. Do your best, okay? Instead of aiming for perfection, which isn't possible, okay? Be proud of however close you got. So I think sometimes people who struggle with any of those issues are super duper hard on themselves. Even if they did like a little bit of accomplishment, it wasn't enough visibly to see or to feel to where they feel they got nowhere and they're not giving themselves enough credit for this to someone else. It'd be amazing. Like, what? You did what?
Yeah.
And to them, it's like, it's not enough. You know what I'm saying? It's like never enough. So I don't know how easy it is to say, right? But if you are listening and you're experiencing any of those things, just remember, look at how much you did accomplish or how much you got close to what you were trying to accomplish and pat yourself on the back for it because you got that far.
Yep.
Okay. So wherever you left off at, maybe if you didn't accomplish it all that day or that month or even whatever, remember where you left off at and continue to go from there because now you're at least halfway there or a third way there, whatever it is. But now you can continue to work on where you left off at versus you automatically saying, look at this. I can't even finish this one thing because a lot of people are hard on themselves like that to where it's like they're never satisfied. It's never enough for them, which then causes the anxiety, which then causes the sadness, the no one loves me, the no one cares for me, the, you know what I'm saying? All those things, because like you said, we all need validation in one way or form. And if there's not someone giving you that positive feedback, again, it goes back to who you hang out with, who you talk to on the daily basis.
You gotta be your own cheerleader, man. Fuck what everybody
I say that 100%. My mom, man, I'm telling you, my mom needs to be on my podcast.
Yeah, like, bring her on the podcast.
Like, what I really need to have a subject for my mom. Too bad she's embarrassed. She speaks English fine, but I don't know for her why she just feels like she's embarrassed. But one thing my mom used to say, yo soy quien soy y no me parezco a nadie. I am who I am and I don't want to, basically, I'm like no one else. You know what I'm saying? You're unique yourself.
Amen.
God made you. That's why we don't all look alike. You know what I'm saying? That's why we don't all have the same shape eyes, the same kind of eyebrow. You know what I'm saying? We're all different, you know? So she used to always say if you can't be happy, you'll never make anybody else happy. I don't care how much you try. If you inside your heart, you're just rotten and you're not happy with yourself, there's no way you'll ever be able to make anybody else happy. My mom was big on those things. Huge. My teacher, my art teacher in middle school, I remember I was walking one day in class, I was walking to his class and I was about to approach the door and he goes, man, he's like, it's like you always walk with your shoulders back and your head held up high. He's like,
because I'm Mariswole, bitch.
I'm that bitch.
And he used to always say that. He's like, and then one day I remember him making me self-conscious because he made it a class attention thing. You know what I'm saying? Too. It's like,
jerk.
Do you see how she always walks with her shoulders back, her head held up high? We all need to do that.
Yes.
And I used to be like, no, don't say that. They're gonna hate me. Like, but my mom again was you don't walk with your head down low. You always walk with your head, no matter how bad your situation is. If you already made yourself physically feel like, that's why they say you dress how you feel, right?
Yeah.
Which I don't always agree with that now because I like being in my workout
I always
clothes.
look homeless.
I like being comfy. So I don't know if 100% I agree with that.
Good posture's better.
Yeah.
Good posture's a better example.
Yeah.
That makes me happy, you know, because that's at work. Whenever you would work for corporate America, it's like, why do we have business casual? It's because you dress how you feel. I'm like, okay, now I don't really know if I agree with that because I love being in comfy clothes, you know? But anyway,
but you get the idea though.
Yeah. My mom was really big on that. You know, she was always big on, for me, it's jewelry. So even if I look funky, like I can look, I have to wear
gotta have
earrings,
the earrings.
a ring, my watch. Something has to make me still feel like I feel feminine. I look
Yep.
pretty. I ain't gotta have no makeup on, but my eyelashes are there, so we're cool.
Amen.
You know. Hey, my eyebrows are micro-braided, so I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? So there's certain things that I feel like, okay, so I'm not 100% put together, but there's a few things that'll make me feel like, I'm okay. So my mom was always big on that. And I feel like if you wake up in the morning and if you wake up and you walk with your head up high and you tell yourself before you walk out the door, no matter how shitty today may be, I am walking out this door positive. I am walking out this door. I'm going to take care of my day. I'm going to take charge. And I'm not going to allow anybody's negative energy to come within my bubble. You know what I'm saying?
And it's not going to be easy. You got to fight that shit off all day long. But people just have to remember, man, there's no losses here. It's always like you're either winning or you're learning. You're winning or you're learning. You can't, if there's ever something that's an issue or a challenge, you can't look at it like something that is going to break you.
Yeah.
You just gotta have to, okay, this is a learning experience. This is what I learned, but you got to keep moving, because a lot of times when we, run into some conflict or run into issues, a lot of times you'll see that happen where it's just a breakdown. Like the person completely breaks down, and you can't do that. You have to be your own cheerleader. You have to say, it's okay. It's not a loss. I'm learning, and let's just keep pushing forward.
And that's it. Accepting that sometimes you don't always win. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like there will be
But don't call it a loss.
Yeah.
It's learning. You're
I
learning.
think like you'll have other things that'll make up for it. So it's okay. I don't know why. I've always like just not been. Sometimes like my husband he is very anxious, and so he's not patient. He's very impatient, and so sometimes that energy I can't deal with it. He'll tell you. I'll be like, okay, I can't today with that. I'm like, so I'll tell him, because the way he manages stress is totally different from me, to where he feels antsy, anxiety. What are we doing? The problem needs to be solved today, and that's not kind of how things work. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Things have to. This is what we have to do. This is the steps we have to take. I'm more of like I said, I'm a problem solver. So for me, I don't know. That's why I love Tetris so much, because I can put pieces. I see
together.
it. I'm the one that loads the truck whenever we go out of town. I always tell them, do not do it. Because
It's true. I've been there plenty of times.
Yes. I was like, do not do it.
I'm scared.
Don't do it, because he's going to tell me it doesn't fit. And I guarantee you, it does fit.
Amen.
I guarantee you it does fit. And so I'll ask Rob. I'll be like, just don't. Let me do it. And I'll tell him, okay, even if it's heavy, I'll be like, okay, this one needs to go this way. And I swear to you, what's that Rain Man where he's like sees all the numbers like this? That's exactly how I see this as shapes. Like
It's all the Tetris paying off.
It's exactly. It's the
Yeah,
Tetris.
it is.
I see the Tetris. Nope, that's not going to work. That's not going to be. It's not going to connect. So you shouldn't put it like that. And I'll say, it's not going to work. Don't do it like that. Okay, he's not going to listen. He'll still shove it in there the way he wants. I said, and then he's like, I was like, I told you it wasn't going to work. Like,
His childhood trauma is so loud, girl. It's
I was
so
like,
loud.
I told you it wasn't going to work. Like, I'm telling you right now, it's not going to work.
Oh,
and,
my goodness.
So I think that's the reason why. And sometimes, that's what I was saying, sometimes people's anxiety or just anxious or whatever is just kind of makes you where you have to be the one to tell that person, hey, listen, it's going to be fine. Listen, this is what we're going to do. And then if that person just keeps being negative about it, about what they're trying to help you see, as you as a friend or you as the person going through it, accept like whatever someone's trying to tell you, and don't find the negative in it. Just see the positive and tell yourself, you know what? I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that, and it might work. And then if it doesn't work for you, then be like, okay, that advice you gave me the other day, that didn't work for me. I don't work that way. That's not how I, solve my own issues. But I appreciate whatever you tried to throw my way. You know what I'm saying? Some of the other things that I read was about like not accepting what you can't control.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's kind of, every day. What are you laughing at, Marissa?
I just loved it. I'm not laughing. I just love it because you've got a plan for everything, boo. And I like that. And I think that that's important. But hey man, too much or too little of anything is a bad thing.
Yeah.
So we have to always just try to find that middle ground.
Even with you, sometimes I'll be like, I'll see something, and you're like, oh, Marissa, you know what you could do with that?
I know,
Marissa,
but that's
you
good
should
though.
do this, and
She'll
that.
text me. She'll be like, okay, you need to, and I'm like, okay, I'm coming. I'm working on it. I swear.
Going off of what you said, are you familiar with the Serenity Prayer? I say that all the time. No, like they use it in Alcoholics Anonymous.
I can't control.
Yeah, so God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Like
I have a charm on my charm bracelet.
Oh,
that
do
has
you?
the hope.
It's so good to comment. Like you don't even have to say God if you're not religious. Just use that prayer or that serenity prayer, or whatever, to put you in that headspace of like,
That's true.
I got this.
Yeah, and it's true because sometimes you can't. Okay, perfect example. The economy is shut down for the entertainment business.
Yeah.
It's not something we can control. We can't.
No.
The only way we can go around it is, unfortunately, we have to find states that vote it red because they're the most open. The ones that vote blue are the least open, and their venues are not open.
Yep.
So it's insane because I never we're going to 7 years this year that I've been helping my husband with managing his tour. I've never had to look the map and be like,
my God,
and look at it from the voting perspective, right? And say, where are red states? Who
just a
voted
new
red?
time.
Is that not crazy?
It's a new time.
And I'll have to look to see who voted, which states voted red. Okay, we can go there. We can go here. We can't go there, but we can go here. Our tour is all over the place where usually I know where I go in the beginning of the year. I know the middle of the year, and I know where I'm going to end. I usually end in Texas, right? This year, I'm starting in Texas. I'm going to Florida. And it looks like California is at the end of the year because we've had to reschedule California now 4 times.
Yeah.
So, and they still don't know
It's got to make sense for y'all.
when they'll open again. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that goes back to the prayer. There's certain things that I can't control. And instead of feeling frustrated,
You just
instead of
work
being-
around it,
I have to
man.
work around it. And I have to find solutions
Yep.
because I can't sit here and dwell on the fact that I've lived off of my savings for however long we've been in this pandemic. You know what I'm saying? Because not everybody gets to have, help from the government like everybody has gotten. You know what I'm saying? So it's like...
I don't think anybody's gotten any help.
well, the help that they think they gave.
Yeah.
When I saw how much...
115.
Are you good? Are you good?
I think so.
Oh, it's 2:15.
It's 2:15?
Yeah, we've been on for an hour
shit.
15.
Yeah.
You gotta go?
Yeah, probably
Okay.
in a little bit.
All right.
Let's
I like how you try to be subtle and we just no. What do you? we got a heart out.
Are
as they
y'all gonna
say.
edit this?
No.
No, it goes on there like that. But anyway, so let's just
But
end.
see, these are
Marissa's got to go.
But that makes me sad though, because these are the kind of things that it's like when you're sitting amongst people who all you're doing is just bouncing ideas off of each other to be better. That's something that I can talk about forever.
And that's a perfect way,
and
a
it's
segue to
so
end.
important, guys. It's
Yep,
so
there you
important to
go.
be around people who, are not necessarily like-minded. We don't agree on everything. And I'm sure you
We
and I
just
won't.
met,
We just
but
met.
good
and we won't
vibes,
agree.
good vibras
We won't
all
agree
around.
on anything. But what we can agree on is that trying to be the best version of yourself is the most important.
For sure.
We gotta work for it every day.
Every day.
It's not gonna be easy.
No one's perfect. So you have to be, every time I pray at night, I always ask God to help me be a better mom, a better person, a better stepmother, like every day, because every day you have to see yourself as a business. So you always have to make changes in a business, right? What's not working?
Yep.
This product didn't sell. This product did sell. So we're going to go with this, right? So you have to evaluate your relationships, yourself, as if you're a business. So write it down, like make a graph and put on there. This has worked for me. This has not worked for me. This is where we need improvement and work on that.
That's right.
And then that's...
Amen.
Hey, there you go.
You go,
So-
girl. Man, did she just put a button on that?
Right?
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. I really hope that this episode has helped you open up your eyes to any feelings that you are going through. I know that the world is kind of weird right now. Everybody is just, feeling certain kind of ways. And if you're experiencing anxiety, depression, overwhelmed, whatever it is, just work on things that make you feel better. So use some of these apps that we mentioned today, read books. The most important thing is, I feel like hang around and with people who are, like you said, like-minded, who are going to bounce off good ideas, who are going to help you be a better person. Because if you have a negative plus a negative equals what?
A positive. Wait, is a negative and a... You know what? I'm sorry, guys. I don't know.
We're all going to download Elevate and train our brains.
Woo! You know
Two
what?
negative people do not equal positive. That's why math to me.
Look, guys.
Hashtag Elevate.
Yeah, thank you. So to me, it's like you can't. Two negative people are not going to have.
It's just more negativity, baby.
Exactly.
It's just a bunch of negative. Don't do that. That's all I know.
It wasn't
Don't
a math
do
problem, Marissa. It's okay. I was just trying to say two negative people are not going to bring a positive outcome.
That wasn't
it's going to be a negative.
You know what?
We'll cut that part out.
Yeah.
Psych.
Just, fuck it. Leave it in there. It is what it is.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening. Just remember, positive mind brings positive outcome.
Amen.
And, it's up to you to make it better if you're having a shitty day. So thank you guys so much for listening. I really appreciate it. If you haven't yet, guys, please be sure to follow me on Instagram at Her Lounge Podcast. I post who we're going to have as guest and a few of the clips that happen. And check out my merch at herappareltx.com. Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Bye.